Well, welcome to another Hoggs Live. And what are we going to talk about today? Hang on, I'll just check the comments, see who's got on. Oh, there's some quick guys getting up early for breakfast today. Hope everyone is having a good breakfast and a good start to the day. Fat Huntsman, you're back on. Avi, good to see you. Mohan Mohank, I hope I got that right. Loyal Gladson Lewis, thanks for joining me. Sam Colgan from Adelaide, thank you. Akash Singh, Rishab Jaiswal, good to see you on there as well. And Surav Gaming, thanks very much for joining me. So let's get into it. Let's have a little bit of fun. We've got to get to those quick questions as quickly as possible. So stop fluffing. So KKR's brain fade, well, that just takes the game away. That's what we're discussing on Hoggs Vlog. Roll the bumper, Shub. Right, let's get straight into the points. Match awareness. KKR did not have good match awareness last night. They had 6 runs and over to win the game when Rana played a rash shot against Chahar in his final ball. Chahar was dominating the game. All you had to do was try and get one. Don't be expansive. And it cost them the wicket. Then a couple of balls later, Shakib. Well, what was he trying to do? Was he trying to prove that he was a better all-rounder than Sunil Narayan to keep his spot, trying to play that rash shot? The ball wasn't there to hit, and all he had to do was rotate the strike because he had other batsmen with him at that stage where they didn't have to take those massive risks to find the boundary. Then we had a lookout Karthik and Andre Russell. Now, this is the thing with Andre Russell. He's a big hitter. All he wants to do is hit boundaries. He doesn't know how to rotate the strike, and that's one thing he's got to add to his game because it puts pressure on the batsman out the other end, especially if he's chewing up dot balls. But there was a moment there where he hit one up in the air, and they could have ran 2, but they just stood there thinking that Boomer was going to catch it, and they didn't take the 2. Cronell had another couple of balls in that over. Now, the thing is, as a spinner, if you see a big hitter like that try and whack you and a catch goes down like that, but he's back on strike, you're starting to get a little bit twitchy. I'll get my ball, but for me, I start to get a little bit twitchy. I start to hold the ball a little tighter, and I'm not as confident with that next ball because I'm worried about him hitting me for 6. So game awareness. Run the 2s when they're there, even if you think you're going to get caught, and rotate the strike with the 1s and 2s against the biggest threats in the opposition team when you're on top of the game. Okay, let's go let's go to the next point. Chahar big wickets. Now, I got a couple of slides here. There was a big wicket of Shubman Gill. Can we get the slides up, please, Shubs? Now, if we look at Shubman Gill, the ball before he gets out, on the left of screen, he hits for 6. But on the other side of the screen, he gets out. Now, the one with 6, he's hit straight over mid-on, and the dismissal, he's tried to hit that over mid-off, where he probably should have gone to the side screen. Now, back to me, Shubs. Both of those balls drifted in the air and were coming into the and Gill playing that one to try and get off side. It wasn't getting the bat through the momentum of the ball in a straight arc. He was playing across the line. That's why he mistimed it and it didn't go for 6. So that's something he's got to look out for moving forward. Everyone was getting on Shakib's back for that rash shot. But for me, Gill, with his international experience now, should have done better than that because he had a 6. He didn't have to play such a rash, well, I won't say a rash shot. He didn't have to try and invent something that wasn't there. He should have tried to hit that straight down the ground. It was there to hit for 6, but not over mid-off, more mid-on direction. So that's something he's got to add to his game. Sorry about that, Gilly. I've really got stuck into you. Next one. Now, this is good bowling from Chahar. Can we get the slides up here? Now, this is earlier on in this over before Rana got out to Chahar. Look out the way that Rana is still out the batting crease, out the point of the release with Rana. But then in the other screen, that front foot is slightly in the air and he is already committed to coming down the wicket. Now, back to me, Shubs. Now, this is called instinct. This is called intuition. This sometimes happens as a spinner. You see that initial movement and you're able to adjust your line and length. And Chahar did that, and Rana was caught short halfway down the wicket. Now, that was the final ball of Chahar's spell. And if he just blocked that, pushed it for one, it would have been, Rana still would have been out there and KKR would have won the match easily. Rana batted well. It was sensational. But that little brain fade, I think, cost KKR, not Shakib's shot. But anyway, let's go on to the next point. We've got SURYAKUMAR Yadav. I absolutely love this guy. He is one of the players, well, he's my favourite player in the world right now. Just the way that he bats. He goes out facing spin, he goes straight to the sweep, reaches out, gets to that length of the delivery and plays it in the gaps. And then with the quick bowlers, he knows where the gaps are. And just the way that he played Prasid as well as Pat Cummins, when the ball was on the legs, he kept his head still, he kept balance, but he just rolled the wrist to hit it over mid-wicket in the gap where there were no deep fielders. And then he was able to punch it through the offside when they brought the mid-off up and they pushed the mid-wicket back out. Just the match awareness, the range of shots that he's got and the timing and just the way that he moves his wrists. VVS Laxman was my favourite player from India, but I'm sorry, SURYAKUMAR Yadav by far is my most favourite player that India has produced right now, and I hope we see him more in Indian colours. If he's not batting for 3 or 4 for India in the T20 World Cup, well, I think they should sack the Indian selectors because he is the bee's knees in world cricket, in T20 cricket. All right, let's move on. Okay, had my little rant there with SURYAKUMAR Yadav. Let's go to the predictive 11s tonight with Hyderabad. For me, I think they might be able to bring... what's his name, Holder in for Nabby, just with that extra pace, but I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll keep the same team as they did the other night because we're only early in the IPL. The first team that you go in, you think it's the strongest team, and plus we're playing out Chennai. I saw there was a little bit more turn in the wicket last night. There's double headers, so it's getting a lot of game time on that centre wicket out Chennai, and the curator's not been able to produce quality wickets, or that won't be able to control. Should I say, won't be able to produce the wickets that he'll want to because there's so much of a rush with turnaround. So they've got to go with the extra spinner. Other than that, I don't think they'll change their team. Kane Williamson still has that elbow injury. Let's go to Bangalore. For me, I think Patakar will come into the team, and I think Washington Sundar will go to 3, and then they'll keep those big hitting options and bowling options down the page. And if Sams is fit, he will come in for Daniel Christian just to add better bowling depth, but he's also got big hitting capabilities as well. He's done it for the Sydney Thunder a number of times here in Australia, where he has produced some big scores batting low down the order, and I think they need that big hitting capability. And plus, I just don't think Christian's bowling is right for IPL cricket at the present moment. I just think Daniel Sams adds a little bit more firepower. Key matchups for Hyderabad and Bangalore. For me, it's all about spin to AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli. If you can get spin out the right time to those two particular players, you're really going to control the game. And it's about the utilisation of Rashid Khan. Rashid Khan may have to have 2 overs up his sleeve when AB de Villiers comes in out the end, because AB de Villiers against pace in those final overs is absolutely dynamite. He's got a high strike rate right there. Strike rate. Get it right, George. But against spin, especially Rashid Khan, I think Rashid Khan's got his number, so that is the big matchup. Okay, let's not muck around. Let's get to the questions. Okay, I've got to get my glasses on to read these. I'm getting a little bit old, but I'm fresh. I'm still fit, but the eyes are just going in the short vision. Shubs, have you got that first one up? I'm getting a little bit nervous here. Dushyant Lodi, how are you going? Hello, mate. Hello to you. How good was Rahul Chahar today? Do you see him as a permanent Indian 11 spinner for T20s? Well, you've got Chahar and Chahal. for me, one of them's got to play. The thing I like about Chahar is that he's really improved. He's got extra height, gets extra bounce, and he's got more overspin than Chahar. And when Chahar is in trouble because he doesn't have that extra height that Chahar does when Chahal gets under pressure, he goes for the wider option, and a lot of players are picking that up. So he doesn't have too many variations where he can slow the flow of run rate down when a batsman's on top of him. Whereas Chahar, he's got that extra bounce, and that extra bounce, when he does go wide, is harder to control. So you're going to get a lot more outside edges. And he's got a good wrong'un, and just the way that he picked up Rana last night, where he picked Rana wanting to come down the wicket and then adjusting his length to that particular movement, just shows me he has improved immensely over the last couple of years, and he's ready for more international opportunities. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays in front of Chahal. Get that on the newsreel. Times India, that will be a headline tonight. Chahar in front of Chahal. Fat Huntsman, how you going? Howdy, Brad. Mumbai managed to win the unwinnable. Whom do you think will give Mumbai the hardest matchup apart from Bangalore? And thanks a lot for these live streams, Brad. They are really fun to watch. Thanks very much, Fat Huntsman. For me, I think Mumbai Indians are definitely the bee's knees. I think Kolkata Knight Riders last night showed their weakness. Andre Russell not being able to rotate the strike, not being able to handle the pressure, and summing up the conditions late in the innings, and that's something they've got to work on moving forward to the tournament. That is a game that KKR should have won. So Mumbai Indians have got it all over KKR. If you lose that game, that could come back and haunt KKR later on in the year. The Mumbai Indians, I think the Delhi Capitals, when they're at full strength with Rabada and Norkie in the team, I think they're the team that can really trouble the Mumbai Indians. And I'm going to throw this one out too. Punjab Kings 11. I like the extra pace that they've got. And that extra pace can really trouble the likes of Krunal Pandya, Hardik Pandya, as well as Pollard in those latter stages. So they've got to get them on the right wicket, a quicker wicket. But they're the two teams that I think can really trouble Mumbai Indians. Thanks very much, Fat Huntsman. All right, next question, please, Shubs. Can we get that up? Varun Gurda. How you going, mate? Hi, Hoggy. How you going, mate? If you get a chance to coaching IPL team, which team would you want to be in? For me, it would either be Rajasthan Royals or Kolkata Knight Riders. It's simply because I've played for them. And those two teams, when I played for them, we didn't win a flag. So it'd be something that you'd want to go back and help be part of a winning team and do something with the team that gave you the opportunities over there. So those two particular teams. But if I was going to coach the IPL, I wouldn't want to be taking over a team that's established. I'd want to take over a team where they've got the option where you can only retain, or you've got the ability to retain 5 players at most, and it's one of the bigger options where you're revamping the squad, and you've got bigger scope to pick a squad that you actually want. So I hope you understand what I mean. So it's the big auction, where it's the main auction where you get rid of all your players, and then you've got a clean slate to go and pick the team that you want. Okay, next question. Good question there, Varun. Sammy boy, Colgan, how are you going? Another Australian who stays up and watches the IPL late out night. And in South Australia, it would be about 12 o'clock his time that the game starts. So he doesn't get to bed till 4 o'clock. Young man, get to bed. How long will Hyderabad persist with Mohammad Nabi? I think while they were at Chennai, I think they'll persist with him, but when they move away from that particular ground, I think they will go with Jason Holder and rearrange their Indian attack as well to suit the conditions away from home. But I'd give Mohammad Nabi one more go. Jason Holder's been locked up because of a COVID test, or isolation. So I'd just give Mohammad Nabi one more go tonight. If he doesn't do well, then bring Holder in. Okay, good question there, Sammy. Arun Kurana. I hope I got that right. Ask Hoggy, did KKR took the target very easy? How should they have approached it? No, I don't think. I thought they batted extremely well. I thought Rana really stepped up to the plate. And I think the big thing, I had to go at Rana for getting out at that stage. That's something that he shouldn't have done. But he had control of the game out that stage. He got through that first over where I thought he was most vulnerable, where Bolt was going to swing the ball away from him. He got through that tough period, and then when it wasn't swinging, he really got on top of that pace attack from Mumbai Indians. So for me, Rana was sensational. Gill was brilliant. They kept the momentum going, but big moments, shot selection at the wrong time was the thing that cost KKR. They were trying to get the runs in 18 overs rather than just summing up the bowling attack and going, which bowlers are we going to be able to score our boundaries from? Which overs or bowlers are the ones that are most threat of getting the wickets? And I don't think they summed that up. They took too many risks against the bowlers that were going to be most effective against them, and they didn't wait for those opportunities to take on the big names of Boomerang and Bolt, where the conditions weren't really as conducive to them, where they really could have taken the game away at that stage. And if they did that, took the game away, and they got on top of Bolt and Boomerang, that would just be a little plan in the back of their heads moving forward, and give the KKR batsmen that they've got the confidence to take on the bigger name bowlers of this Mumbai Indian team. So I thought they approached it wrong in the final overs. I just thought they were too aggressive against the spinners. Thanks very much, Arun. Next question. Media, Naranjan. I don't know whether I can answer this with the media out there. This could be a big one. How's Rowett's captain? I reckon it's incredible to pull off the victory from nowhere. Rohit Sharma's captaincy. You know what? I think he's probably the best T20 captain in the Indian ranks right now. But this is not having a go at Virat Kohli. But one thing that I've really noticed that is going to be complementary to Virat Kohli and Rohit at the same time and puts India in a better space is that Virat Kohli is consoling a lot more in Rohit Sharma during international matches. So what that's telling me is that they're getting a very good close relationship. It's getting stronger, and there's I won't say it, but you can get jealous or you can get a little bit worried about your position as leader. You can see that threat coming from someone else, and there's a lot of talk about it. I just think that's a big thing from Virat Kohli to realise, hang on, I've got other options in here that have got good minds for T20 cricket that I've got to utilise to help me make the right decision. Now that shows the strength that India have with Rohit Sharma's leadership, but it also shows Virat Kohli understanding his vulnerabilities, understanding that there's a few weaknesses, understanding that he's not the bee's knees of making all the decisions, and understanding that use your resources that you've got there. And when a captain does that, well, your team goes from this level to that level in India in all forms of the game because of the captaincy roles, and his willingness to listen to other senior players is just taking India to a new level. I hope I explained that right, Niranjan. Thanks very much for that question. And I don't like talking about Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli's captaincy because both are wonderful players, and you don't want to show respect to people like that or disrespect to people like that who have done a fantastic job, and both are capable of leading India in all formats. Shabanka Bhattacharya. I hope I got that right. I know that there'll be a lot of Indians laughing at the way that I pronounce that name. Did Dinesh Karthik come into bat too late in the order? I don't think he did. I think that they had the right hand, left hand combination wanting to go there as well. And they just think that Dinesh Karthik might be able to finish the innings against the likes of Boomerang and Trent Bolt with his little lap shots and other shots that he's got up his armoury as well. So, and having Karthik with those lap shots and reverse sweeps that he does against the pace, and Andre Russell at the other end with his straight hitting, that little combination would have been a good combination against Bolt and Boomerang. To try and put them off the line of length. So I think KKR in a way made the right move there. It was just about the execution of shots out crucial times from KKR that cost them the game. Good question there, Shabanka. Atava Deshpande, how are you going, mate? Why do you think Mumbai Indians are playing Jansen over Milne, Neesham, who have significantly much T20 experience? Look, I think it's a good thing that they're giving Jansen a go, because it's just exposing him to IPL cricket, just seeing what he's got, and just seeing if he's going to fit into the mould of an 11 if need be. So they're just giving him a slight bit of experience at the start of the season, which I think is fantastic. And then in a couple of games' time, they might pull him out and bring in someone like Milne or Neesham or Nathan Coulter-Nile. I think Nathan Coulter-Nile's got a bit of a injury at the moment, but they'll pull him out, and then he can practice on the things that he's learnt in those couple of games and improve on the road, and then they'll give him another opportunity at some stage to see if he's improved. So for me, I think it's a good move that they've given him an opportunity, especially when they've got the experience of Bolt and Boomerang in their bowling stocks. They've also got quality spinners, and they've also got Pollard and Hardik Pandya when he's fit. He'll be bowling in a couple of games' time, but they've got those other options as well to handle the ball. So for me, you've got to give the youngster a go, see what he's got early on in the season, and then bring back your experience in the middle periods. But that's a very good observation there, Atava. I like it. Pranav Gopinath. I reckon I've got that one right. Hoggy, do you think that Sunil Narayan would have been useful for KKR in this match? No, I don't think so. Well, he would have been useful, but I just think they've got to go with the options that they've got. They've got to have 4 players in there from the overseas contingent. Morgan's got to be one. Cummins has got to be one. And Andre Russell, you need that power hitting, fast bowling all-rounder. And Shakib's got to be the other one, because his left arm off spin. You had Harbhajan in the team as well, but I think Shakib's a better batter, though he didn't show it last night. He didn't show his maturity. Come on, Shakib, you're better than that. So for me, I don't think Sunil Narayan is right for this particular team, because he's very similar to the other bowlers that KKR have in the team. The other issue that I've got with KKR is Andre Russell's fitness. He only bowled 2 overs last night. And they were out the death. Yes, he got 5 wickets, but they were cheap wickets. They were in the last over. Don't tell Andre Russell that, he'll get upset with me. No, but he bowled well coming around the wicket and wide, so he kept the runs down out that stage. But he's got knee problems, knee issues. And knowing that, and the world knowing that, I think his bowling days are nearly numbered, and that's not good for him with his potential in an IPL team moving forward, because he's a player that needs to be bowling with the role that he plays with the bat. He can't just go out there as a frontline batter. So that's a big issue for KKR moving forward, is Andre Russell's knees. I'll just put that on top of Sunil Narayan there, Pranav. Sorry about that, but that's a good question. Next question, please, Shubs. Let's get it up there. Hello, gamer. How you going, mate? What is the major weakness of RCB? For me, RCB, I'm just still a little bit concerned about their death bowling. And I think they're 1 batter short in their list. I just think they're going to mix and match with the number 3. I don't think they really have a quality number 3 at this moment, with Patekal coming in opening the batting with Virat Kohli, and you're trying to have Maxwell and AB de Villiers batting a little later in the innings. I just think that number 3 position is the big issue for RCB moving forward, and their death bowling. But their death bowling from the last game looks as though it's slightly improving, and they're getting more confidence in that region. Next question. Good question there. Hello, gamer. Okay. Oh, no. Yes. Mitran Rajesh. How are you going, Mitran? Where do you think KKR lost the game? Simply in the final overs. They played rash decisions, or they made rash decisions with shot selection when they were on top of the opposition bowlers. And then when they had the game out 6 and over, they were trying to hit boundaries rather than rotate the ones and twos to take the pressure on. And if you're pushing those ones and twos, the bowler out the other end knows that, all right, I've had 4 singles off my bowling. I can't afford to be hit for a boundary. All of a sudden, he just tightens up under pressure and that 4 ball will come. They were chasing 4 balls that weren't there, which was where they lost the game for me. And if you look at Rana and Shubman Gill, I just felt with Shubman Gill, the ball was there to hit for 6. He just tried to be a little fancy and go over mid-on when he was should have tried to hit straight down the ground to mid-on with that particular ball because it was on leg stump, not outside off. And Rana trying to take on Rahul in the last ball of his spell was the one that was quite costly. Okay, next question, or is that all the questions we've got today, Shubs? Are we getting one up? We're getting one up. You're leaving me open here. All right, today's game, who have we got? Sunrisers Hyderabad up against RCB. For me, I think RCB are the bee's knees this year. I think they've got the right balance. They're one batter short, but with the quality of batting that they've got there, I think they'll get over the line overseas. tonight, Sunrisers Hyderabad. Anyway, you guys have a good day. Thanks for joining me for your breakfast over in India. Thanks for joining me, those people over in America while you're having dinner. And in Australia, well, thanks for joining me for lunch as well. Have a good day, guys. Let's keep enjoying